Shalom, shalom. Welcome back, brothers. Man, thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Set Apart Man, where we help men learn to live set apart, live more obedient to the word of the Most High Yah, and navigate this wicked world according to righteousness. Man, in today's video, I want to talk about something that men need to hear. Married or single, it doesn't matter. Because oftentimes, man, we are creating a huge problem that the future generation has to deal with, especially if you're a man that has children, if you have daughters and you're a married man, even if you're a single man. I want to stress the point that, man, we must not validate rebellion or wickedness in women. And this is the reason why a lot of men, by calling themselves going above and beyond for women who are not deserving, have created monsters. Let's talk about it.
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage. Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
All praise to the Most High Yah Shalom. Thank you for tuning in to another righteous Ruach Spirit-filled episode of The Set Apart Man. Once again, I'm back at it in them trenches, handling that kingdom business. Before I dive into today's video talking about how, modern men, are out here creating monsters. I'm talking about entitled monsters, monsters of no accountability, monsters that can never see their actions as wrong or non-conducive to marriage or relationship. But before I get into that, man, I need brothers out there to do me a solid, smash that like button, hit that like button, subscribe to the Set Apart Man YouTube channel if you're serious about becoming a set apart man. And then lastly, drop me a comment down below answering this question. Why do you think men are, so caught up in going above and beyond for oftentimes women of no value, for women that don't even deserve 50% of the stuff that men do for them? Drop your comment below, and also include, do you think that if a man was out here low functioning, low vibrational, of no value, that a woman would be breaking her back to do the same thing for you? Think about that. Drop that in the comments, man, and let's start the dialogue and let's sharpen iron with iron. But, man, when we look at the word validate, verb, check or prove the validity or accuracy of something. So, man, I want to stress the point to men, young and old, that you can be a gentleman without being a sucker. You can be a gentleman without validating her rebellion. Okay, let's say, for instance, men, you shoot your shot. A woman gives you her telephone number and you are in conversation. Man, if you are in conversation with this woman and she is off the rip already saying some stuff to prove she is not worthy, why would you furthermore take her on a very expensive, extravagant date? But let alone, why would you take her? I don't give a dang if it's 2 for $20s. Why would you invest your money when she is already showing you signs of rebellion? Let that marinate. Let that sizzle on your spirit a moment. Man, let's flip the scenario. You sit up and in conversation with a woman, you tell her, yeah, man, I just want to use you for sex. I don't want to be no provider. I ain't got no job. I ain't got no car. I ain't got none of that. Do you think there's going to be a gang of women that are signing up to go above and beyond for you and to give you all of themselves? Absolutely not. But the reality is, man, we got far too many men that don't even realize they're operating in the capacity of a sucker. You hear the word simp. I'm going to break that down. A simp or a sucker is a man that validates the rebellion and wickedness of a woman by telling her, man, you deserve it all and more. When the Most High Yah doesn't see it that way. Man, in conversation, if she doesn't even pass the conversation check, if she doesn't even pass the conversation test showing that she's in alignment with the will of the Most High, man, men don't even spend any money on her. And what happens is men are out here, no matter how much you earn, how high value you think you are, what's happening is men are paying to play. That's the reality of it. Because it's fornication if y'all ain't married. So men are out here saying, man, if I wow and woo her, she might give me the goods. But let me tell you something, man. Every woman walking around has got sex. Men, you've got it too. But the real goods are virtue. That's the real good. You can validate and reward virtue, not rebellion. Man, men will sit up and entertain a woman, take a woman, you will come with the flowers. You would take her to a $200 steakhouse, $300 steakhouse. You taking women to Cheesecake Factory. They didn't even pass the conversation test showing their alignment with the will of the Most High. But yet you're pursuing her. And we know how that goes. Her rebellion will manifest. Her rebellion will surface. And it's all your fault because you created a monster. When a woman knows that she's rebelling against you and you allow it, you tolerate it, and you reward it, what do you think that does? Brothers, that creates a monster. Let's face it, man, a lot of men have created this monster of making women to the point where putting women on a pedestal to where they feel like the word accountability doesn't apply to them. Okay, how did you do that? How did men do that? Your wife don't want to cook for you. She doesn't want to be agreeable. She doesn't want to fulfill her conjugal rights in marriage to you. She doesn't want to submit. She doesn't want to be cooperative. She doesn't really want to rear and raise the children in the domestic form. And what do? She comes and says, hey, baby, I want to go on a vacation. What do? You say, man, as a man, I'm always gonna take good care of my woman. So I'm gonna take her on a yearly vacation. Wait a minute. The book says, man, if a man does not provide for his family, especially those of his own household, he has denied the faith. He's worse than an infidel. When you break down the etymology of that passage, of that verse, it's talking about providing the necessities, the basics, the needs. But men are out here validating the wants, the extras, the incentives of rebellious women by way creating monsters. And that's not good. That's a problem because let me tell you something. If you're a man validating a rebellious woman, going above and beyond for her, and you have children, you have daughters, what do you think she's going to teach your daughters? They're going to go out and do the same thing. She's going to pour that same foolishness into them because that's the environment you fostered. Men, going out on a night out with a woman or going out on a date or courting a woman is not complicated. First, man, okay, when you see her, you shouldn't be shooting your shot at women that don't have the appearance of godliness. You shouldn't be shooting your shot at women who do not, before you even know their name, if you see how she moves and she doesn't move gracefully and like she has virtue, you shouldn't even be approaching to shoot your shot. Okay, another one. If you're shooting your shot and off the rip she's about games, she's not about Yah's business. Especially once you make it known, hey, man, I'm trying to find the woman that the Most High Yah wants me to be with. If you make your business known and she's still about games, there shouldn't be too much phone conversation because she hadn't even passed the initial test. Man, y'all remember them Scantrons that you had to circle the little letters? Okay, what was the first thing you had to do on that Scantron? It was put your name on it. What was the first thing you had to do on those Scantrons? Man, you had to put your name on it. Guess what, man? If you fail putting your name on it and you answer every question wrong, they don't know who got that 100. And oftentimes, men, what are we doing? You're out here shooting your shot where women can't even pass the first part of the test, which is filling out your name correctly. Identifying yourself as a virtuous woman. Okay? Let's fast forward. Men, she passes the, you have slight communication with her while you shoot your shot. You let her know that you're on some serious intent, serious business. You're looking for the woman the Most High Yah wants you to be with. Okay? You exchange numbers. Conversation goes good. She says that she's in alignment. We got to get past because everything is just conversation at this point. She could be giving you lip service or she could be authentic. She could be a real one according to the will of the Most High. But things got to progress. So you say, hey, man, I would like to take you out on a night of the town. The goal, the agenda isn't to, give her the best steak. The agenda isn't to let her have the best experience all paid for by you. That's not the goal of the date. The goal of the date is, okay, let me put her in an environment where I can really ask some more in-depth questions and just see how, just shake her down. When you ask certain questions, you're going to either shake off, and reveal her foolishness or you're going to reveal her righteousness. That's what it's about. And brothers, you can do that over a cup of coffee. You can do that over 2 for $20 at Chili's. You can do that at Subway. You can do that at Wingstop, at Buffalo Wild. It don't matter. But that's the goal. What you have is men going above and beyond for these women who have, from the moment you met them, you should have saw their rebellion. Just the way that they presented themselves. But what happened? Your flesh ran up on her. The Ruach HaKodesh didn't lead you to that woman. Your flesh ran up on her. And you continue constantly, when a man that considers himself high value, and I'm a godly man, I grew up as a Christian, and you run up shooting your shots on harlots, you're validating them. You're proving that what they're doing is valid, what they're doing is justified in your sight, and what they're doing is accurate to some degree according to you. But the reality is it doesn't line up with how the Most High Yah tells us to operate. And this is why we must talk about this. Man, I'll tell you point blank, period. Man, let my wife get on my nerves. Let my wife get on my nerves and just be contentious and then have the nerve to sit up talking about I want to go on a vacation. I deserve a vacation. What you done to deserve a vacation? Especially if you've been out here bare minimum. Come on. A lot of these women that's below and bare minimum oftentimes are the one that requests the most above and beyond out of a man. And you know what? A sucker or a simp will give it to him. You gotta come from a place where if you're not getting the performance and the value that at a baseline level you're supposed to be getting out of these women, you gotta come from a place of standing flat-footed and say, hey, don't you even ask me about no doggone vacation the way that you've been acting. You lucky I'm still here. Let that marinate on her spirit. Let that, and if she chooses to walk, she chooses to walk. But you have to let her know, man, there is a standard. You just not gonna do what you want all up and through here and think that there is great reward while you're operating in rebellion. See, the reward comes for righteousness. The reward does not come for rebellion. Too many men are operating in a state of validating the rebellious woman. You're validating the Rahab, the woman who dresses in the attire of a harlot and wants to be out in these streets. You're out validating her. You're out giving her reward. You're out here giving her all of this stuff that actually you should be given to a woman that is virtuous and deserving of that. Brothers, man, if a woman goes above and beyond for you, man, you lay out the red carpet for her because she's doing the same thing for you. Think about this. You've got women out there, rare as they are, that, man, they have no problem fulfilling their domestic role while you go out and fight the world to provide for the family. You got a woman out there that will have a man's bath ready. See, men don't even know these women exist, but there's some out there. And let me tell you something, man, if you're not filled with the Ruach HaKodesh in alignment with fearing the Most High Yah and keep his commandments, you won't never even know who these, I can point out and name some stuff right now that if you go look into it, you be like, dang, I didn't even know these women exist. You've got women that you go out there and work a full day, full shift, and they're so virtuous, man, they will rub your feet. When you get home, they'll have your bath water ran. They'll have some food prepared. The house will be clean, but most men don't have access to that. Man, the virtuous women are reserved for the men that fear Yah. But you've got men out here going above and beyond. You're a rebellious woman. You didn't put her in a Mercedes. You didn't put her in this big old mansion. Everything she wants, you give her. But yet you ask her to fix you something to eat because you're hungry, and that's one of her biblical functions of a Proverbs 31. You got to deal with all this mouth, all this clap back. Stop validating the rebellion of women. And that's a lot of this problem. When men stop validating rebellion, you're going to see a huge shift. You're going to see a huger shift and a humbling. When some of these rebellious women are kicked to the curb and forced to starve because of their rebellion, rather than being in alignment with the will of Yah and submitting the way that they're supposed to in order to have livelihood, to have provisions, brothers, let them starve. You didn't cause them to starve. You just gave them a choice to choose rebellion or choose righteousness. And at the end of the day, man, we all have a choice. The Most High Yah does not put a gun to nobody's head. You gonna live righteous, or I'm gonna blow your head smooth off. Pinky! No, he lets you choose. He doesn't hold a gun to your head. Men, you're not gonna have to, you got men out here trying to control. You got men out here trying to control rebellious women. Good luck with that. You got men out here thinking you can beat a woman into submission. Okay. Good luck with that. No, man, if she's already not walking virtuously, man, you have no, it's not even just for you to try to even entertain her, especially if you consider yourself a set apart man. Man, the reason I talk about this is so men don't overextend themselves. So men don't get taken advantage of. A rebellious woman, her goal is not to add unto you as a man, it's to take away from you. That's why so many of these women, they get with these men for short periods of time, and then when the relationship severs, what do? They take. They brought nothing, took everything. Stop overextending yourself. A lot of this stuff, man, it was 2 years in marriage before I took my wife to a restaurant that was over $150. I wasn't out here taking women that I just met to Roof Chris and to the melting pot and all of this. No, heck no. I want you to think about it, men. You gotta start being honest, man. If her performance is not up to par with the baseline standard of what she should be doing, bro, stop rewarding her foolishness. Stop rewarding her rebellion. Stop rewarding and validating her wickedness towards you. That's the problem, man. Men are out here, they call themselves tricking off. You got some men that love tricking. You got so much money that you try to buy, attention from women. And what you're doing is really just suppressing her wickedness for the moment. She's in agreement with you as long as you, oh yeah, baby, oh yeah. And behind the scenes, what are you doing? Busting and gooping all up in her, busting all kind of nuts. in fornication if you ain't married. And then you got married men tricking off. Happy wife, happy life. Man, that's a concept of tricking off. The Most High Yah ain't never called for you to be no sucker, called for you to be no simp. No, he called for you. The whole duty of man is to fear Yah and keep the commandments. That's what the book of Ecclesiastes says. That's what the book of Ecclesiastes says. But we got far too many men. You got to think about it. Men are taught this foolishness from like high school, from early on in life. You got to lay out the red carpet. What if this woman is not red carpet worthy? You think about prom. You got, okay, a woman gonna have somebody else buy her dress. Mama, nowadays, the mama, you think about these single parent household, mama gonna buy her dress, put her up and say, hey, if he don't lay out the red carpet, he ain't the one for you. So a lot of these young ladies are rebellious from youth, raised in rebellion, being told and programmed and conditioned that the red carpet must be laid out for them. And you know what? There's men lining up to do it. As a man, you out here, as a young man, you out here trying to go above and beyond. And this woman, she don't even like you. That's the reality of it. She don't even like you. She just likes the carpet that you lay out because it is the environment that fosters her validation. That's what she's after. Once again, this is the Set Apart Man kicking that thing gun barrel straight. And until next time, stay set apart, stay disciplined, and stay in the word of Yah. Bow.